Yeah. Guys, yesterday we couldn't able to see the milestones, right? We were facing issues. So the major issue for that, like we couldn't able to see, even though we were following the process, like we have created the entitlement and milestone, and after that we have added that milestone to, like we have added that entitlement to one of our account customer, like from the BNB IT customer, we have added a milestone, right? Sorry, entitlement, right? This is our entitlement. From this entitlement, we try to create the case yesterday. Okay, like this, we tried to created the case yesterday. For example, in case of high priority, I should see a milestone which is saying that within 120 minutes, you have to do some action. Okay, that is my expectation. I need to have some milestones so that I'll not forget that, okay, within this time, I need to take some action on this one, right? But yesterday it was not happening. But if you see it, I can see my milestone record here. This is what yesterday I tried to show you guys. Like it will create some milestone for you on the remaining time. It will show you like this is the milestone which you need to complete within this target of time. Okay. Reason behind this is why we couldn't able to see yesterday is in our case fields. Actually, my profile does not have access to milestone fields. Okay. I went to the case fields. You can switch back to the lightning experience, guys. No need to do it in the classic because it will work as it is in the lightning experience also. If I open up any case from the related, I can see the case milestones. Okay, like this. This is my milestone. So the problem that we couldn't able to see on yesterday is on the case object. So on the case object, if you go to the fields and relationships, there is an entitlement name field. Okay. And this is the field. If you click on the field level security, right now you can see all the profiles have access to this field. But previously it was not there, guys. No profile has access to this particular field. That's the reason I couldn't able to see the milestones information because I don't have access to that particular fields. So what I did was I have given permissions to you can just give permission to your particular profile, or for now you can give it to every profile. That's fine. But at least your profile should have access to this particular column, entitlement name. Then only it will display all the related milestones. Okay, so that is the problem. Yesterday's problem. As soon as I went and give the permissions to this entitlement name, it started working. So there are three fields on the case object, guys. One is the entitlement name, and another two fields I just given permissions are the milestone status. Okay, this is the another field. Okay. Milestone status is the another field. I have given permission. Okay. Once you give the permission to these two fields, and another change I did is I went to the case page layout. Okay. And went to the case layout. This is the default page layout which is assigning to our profile for the case object. Okay. I just added these fields: entitlement name, milestone status. Okay. And this status icon things. These are the three fields. You can come to here there is a fields option. Then you will see all the fields which are available. Then you just need to drag the fields to respective section. So these are the fields which I have dragged into my page layout just to confirm when I am creating the case is my entitlement process. These milestone status and milestone status icon, they will automatically created, guys. You don't need to do anything. Even entitlement name also automatically it will populated when you create the case from the entitlement record. Okay. From the account, we will go to the entitlements, and from entitlements, we will create the case, right? Like, first we will open up our account records, and then we will open up our entitlement records. So all the objects that you are seeing under related tab, we call it as a child objects of account, guys. Okay. So entitlement is also one of the child object, child record. So when I open up the entitlement here, I can create a case. So as soon as you create the case, okay, at that time you are able to select only these things: subject test, description test. Okay, save. So your case was created. You can click on the case number. Then it will take you to the case detail page. Here you are able to see all your uh, why entitlement name is not coming. Let me go back once again, guys. This is the one. This is the entitlement, and this is the entitlement process. Okay, go back. This is a new case, but status is new. Okay, a new case is created, and let's try to edit something. Type I'm going to give it as a mechanical and click on save. So case origin is the one phone. Okay. Somehow entitlement process is not working in Lightning, guys. Let me switch back to the classic view and I'll show you. But the process is same. Okay. So from the account object, we should open up the record BNB IT services. Okay. From here, we can go to the entitlements. So there is an option action create case. Why this is inactive status? So it gets created correctly. Like from the entitlement process, when we create the entitlement, automatically these three fields from the entitlement, when we create the case, automatically these three fields get populated. We haven't populated, right? At the time of creating this case, these things gets populated automatically, and respectively, a milestone record will get created for you. Okay, so within this particular point of time, you can just edit the milestone. You can complete the action. Like I need to, so the milestone which is adding it here is send first response in 2 hours. Okay, so what is the first response is either I can just send an email from my case. When I click on send an email, this is the where I can just select some person, some contact or some person. Okay, then I can just send some email. Okay, so I'm done with my action, right? I have sent my first email. So what I'll do is I'll just edit the milestone and I'll make it as a complete. I'll just populate the completed date. Then it will say shows it's a completed. Okay. Then it is creating the another milestone, guys. This is because of in our milestones I have selected sequentially. Okay, that's the reason it is doing one by one again and again. So basically, we just need to select independent. Okay, if you haven't populated the completed date within the target date, then automatically it will makes the violation, guys. Okay, these are mainly about the milestones. So the missing thing here is we just need to provide the access permissions to milestone name, milestone status icon fields which is present on the case object. We need to profile permission to set field level security. There is a button set field level security. If you go to the case fields, you will be able to see that one. Okay. So you are familiar with the lightning experience, right? So you can check all these things in the lightning experience, like checking the field level security, like fields and relationships, entitlement name. Okay, this is the button. Set field level security is the button, and make sure that your profile has access to this particular field. So the same thing you need to repeat for milestone status and milestone status icon also. See, now it is working for this also. Lightning is something like that. You will see the refresh issues, guys. Even though you configure everything well, sometimes it will not reflect immediately. Sometimes it reflects very well. So most of the times when we are working with the lightning, we need to clear out our cache settings. That is the one thing. Otherwise, within 5 to 10 minutes, it will start working off. So the first thing we need to make sure that you can switch back to classic. The easiest thing is, if anything that you feel you configured correctly, but somehow it is not working in Lightning, then the immediately what we can do is we can switch back to Classic and we can verify our functionality. Okay, in the Classic, it's accessing of the things is different, like accessing of the application, accessing of the object. That is a little bit different, but functionality wise, it's same, right? So we can switch back to Classic and we can verify our functionality, one working or not. Okay, if it works in Classic, then fine. It's just a refresh issue in Lightning also. It will start work. Okay. So in the case right now, previously we couldn't able to see this entitlement name and all, but we can see it in Lightning experience also now. And from the related, we can see the milestone records. Okay. So basically, two things that you need to follow to make to verify the milestones: field level security, and the second thing is you just need to add those fields to your case page layouts. Okay. I just added to this case layout. I dragged the three fields: milestone entitlement name, milestone status, and milestone status icon. These three fields. Okay. These three fields I just dragged into the page layout so that I can make sure that my case is representing the respective milestone statuses. Okay. That's it, guys, about the milestones and entitlements. So, the major important thing is you need to remember this diagram. Okay. So, remembering the diagrams are always important, as we discussed. Where is it? This is the one, entitlement process diagram. I'll upload this diagram into the shared folder so that you guys also can can see it. Okay. So these are all six steps. And this is also very, very important question, guys. Whenever you said I have an experience on Service Cloud, the first questions they will ask you on the case management, and the second questions they'll ask you on the entitlement process. Okay. And very, very important, how you create the entitlement, how you handle the entitlements for your accounts. Okay. How you set up the entitlements. Very, very important process. Okay. So you can go through it and you can try to create your entitlements and you can try to create your milestones. Then try to create a case from the entitlement records and try to see your milestones are populating or not. Okay. Or if you struck up anywhere, you can ask me the questions. I'll clarify your doubts. Okay. With this, we are done with all our basic applications and its usage. It's all basic, guys. Now you all have idea. Like on our first class, we said Salesforce is a very good business application that we use for the day-to-day small to large scale business. So any business is obviously divided into three things: sales, service, and marketing. Now we understand at least a basic knowledge we got how a marketing application works, how a sales application works, how a service application works. Like familiar with the Salesforce UI, that I can say. You will not feel new when you log in up or when you open up any applications. Now you know the terminology of what is object, what is field, what is page layout, what is record types, what is profile. Okay, what are the users, what are the objects. So now at least you have a little bit of knowledge on Salesforce terminology. So it's time to start our developing our own application. Okay. It's not something like that. We will not use any of the standard applications, guys. Okay. Because Salesforce is the multi-tenant architecture. That means if you purchase the Arc, you will not use it only for uh, in a company, right? In a small scale company, it's always a one application. There will be only one team that uses the Salesforce. Hardly. If your company is 100 to 200 members, then it is not going to be a big company, right? It is just a startup company kind of thing. It's not a startup. 200 to 300 means is like level 2, level 2 kind of company. Okay. In such cases, they will be having one application. Okay, like they can build their own application. One application is more than enough, so you will not see many conflicts, even though if you use the standard service or sales applications. Okay, so standard sales and service applications are always fine for the startups kind of thing. But let us assume your company is not the startup. Okay, your company, you have around a level 3 company which is having around 2000 employees. Okay, out of 2000 employees, you have to develop like their finance team requirements are different. Okay, like you are handling different kind of services from your company. For example, one side you are handling transport services. Okay, that is one of your business line. So you are going to handle transport services, and another side you are handling finance services. Okay, so that is this completely irrelated. So transport is the one line of business of yours, and finance is the another line of business. So finance has its own marketing and own sales and own support. Okay, transport, whatever the by your company group, your another vertical is the transport vertical. So transporting system has its own marketing, they need their own sales application, they need their own support application, because the requirements are always different. Finance customers have the requirements differently, and the transport customers have the requirements differently. And the third thing, you are in the insurance world, you would like to provide some insurance policies or give some insurance on anything. So that is the third vertical of yours. So you are running a group of businesses and you would like to use the Salesforce as part of your business. So obviously, right, if you use only one application, like default application, service application, sales application, and marketing application as a one application here, you are not in a position to fulfill all the requirements that customers are looking for. Maybe transport team will ask, no, I don't want accounts as the third place, I want accounts tab in first place. Okay, immediately another business finance team will come into the picture. No, no, for us, customers are not important. For us, reports are important. So the first step should be reports. Then immediately insurance team will come as, no, no, for us, reports and accounts are not important for us. Ours is cases. Any ticket is coming up for us. That is the more important for us. So we want cases in the first place, right? In such type of different verticals, different things, we are going to, I mean, we always, whenever we are developing something, right, we always think about the future applications. So right now my business may be the small business. So one application, I can use the standard application, but what happens in future, my business will grow up, and if it is going to be extend more and more, is this application is scalable? Different people will ask different requirements. So if I use the standard service application, then obviously I cannot offer such kind of things. That's the reason, always, each and every company, the first step that we will do, guys, we will create our own application. Okay, whatever the vertical which we are going to, in case my company is going to have three verticals, like as I told you, insurance, transport, and finance, I am going to provide three different applications for three kind of verticals. Okay. Horizontals and verticals is the kind of IT terminologies, guys. It's something like different way of, for example, as a group business, in the sense of we will do different services, right? Those services, they will just use the keyword of horizontals and verticals. Okay. But don't get confused. If I'm running, basically, in our villages or in our towns also, we will see it, right? A person will run multiple businesses. So it's in the IT world also, it's the same thing. If they are in multiple businesses, they call that as their horizontals and verticals. Okay. They just divide that into a grid kind of format. Okay. So, but the ultimate goal is, guys, we always give a different applications to different type of business service. So, whenever you join into your companies, the first thing they will tell you is they'll ask you to raise a ticket for your access. So as soon as they give you, they will tell you what is the org name, as I told you. So, and then they'll tell you, go through this application. They will tell you the application name. Okay. Each and every project, each and every company have its own application. Okay. So, first of all, we know how applications looks like because we have seen three applications: marketing CRM applications, service application, sales application. So we have an idea how the application looks like. Okay. But in case if we want to create a new application, okay, so whenever they said go through this application, so what you will do is you will come to the app launcher and you will open up the application, right? From the app launcher, obviously you will find the application name which they are telling us. But if you want to verify what is the configurations that they have done as part of this application, then you should know, right, how those applications gets created. So that is nothing but the first thing that we are going to learn as part of our customization, how to create our own app. Okay. Go to setup, quick finds. There is an option of app manager. Okay. There is an option of app manager. We need to click on that button, app manager. And this is the place you will be seeing all your default apps. Okay. And these are our apps we were going through the from the last 10 classes: marketing CRM classes, sales console, service console. Okay. So if I want to create our new application, I just need to create new lightning app, and there is another one, new connected app. Okay. Connected apps we use to authentication purpose, guys. From the third party system, if we want to access the Salesforce, we have to create a connected apps that will generate a username and password. Okay. And we can provide that username and password to the third party system. Using that username and password, they will access our system. Okay. That is use of connected app. We use this for the integrations purpose. Okay. Apart from that, if we want to create any application within the Salesforce, you have to click on new lightning app. So there is a button, new lightning app. So here is the one you are going to give your app name. So um, I'm giving the so okay. I'm just taking insurance as the example, guys. Okay. B and V insurance app. Okay. So just a name. You can just give the same app name, but the difference between the normal name and app name is normal names are the display names that you are able to see in the front end. Developer names are something like that, the back end storage names. Okay, so they should not have spaces. It will automatically, when you give the app name, automatically with the underscores that your developer name will created automatically. You can write some description, handles all insurance related operations. Okay. And if you want to add any brand, that means any image, you can add it. Okay. So your app will looks like this within the Salesforce. This is the preview of your app. I'm clicking on the next. So the next thing is the navigation style. Standard navigation or console navigation. Okay. We heard about this. What is the difference between the standard and console? Okay. In the standard navigation, you will be seeing tab by tab. In the console navigation, you will be seeing drop down list of thing, right? So right now I'm going to select the standard navigation only. Unsupported factors. Would you like to access this from phone, desktop, or only in phone, or only in desktop, or both phone and desktop? So always we select both phone and desktop. Okay. And setup personalization, full setup options. Okay. So generally we will select full setup options. Service setup is something like that. You will not get all setup options, guys. Most of the times we will give the full setup only. Okay. And then app personalization settings, disable end user disable end user personalization of nav items on this app. End user personalizations, I'll explain you guys. Okay. And use omni-channel sidebar. So I'm just going to enable this one, omni-channels sidebar. Just in later classes, I'll explain you about what is omni-channel and all. Right now, I want to keep omni-channel as part of my application. So I just checked that one and click on next. Okay. And utility items. Utility items are nothing but this is your application, right? Complete application. These are the down. You are able to see the shortcuts. Those we call it as a utility items. Okay. So if I click on add utility item, basically I want to add charter as the shortcut. Okay. So that is one of my utility item. Click on next. And the next thing is what are the objects that you would like to see in your application. Okay. We will add all the objects that we discussed. Okay. Accounts. So we'll start with campaigns. Okay. And the next object that I need is lead. Then the next thing I have accounts, and then I have contacts. Then the next important object that I have is opportunities. Okay. The next thing that we have seen is cases. And then I'm going to make it as a service contracts. And then we have reports. Okay. And then I have dashboard. And basically, right, any application always we want to keep the home tab, guys, to highlight our major highlights. So I'm going to keep it as a home. This is going to be my first tab always. Okay. I'm clicking on next and available profiles. So which profiles this app should be available. So I'm selecting system administrator profile and you can select any other profiles also. So this is how when we are creating the app, we can configure what all objects I needed and what all the profile users they have access to that particular application. So only system administrator, right now I have given access to only system admin profile user. Okay. So if other profile, any user with other profile user logs in, they can't see this application. Okay. This is how we can provide the security. Click save and finish. Okay. Now my application is ready, guys. Let me check where it is. So my application name is B&B Insurance app. This is here. If I want to edit anything, I can edit it. Or if you want to create the new one, you can clone and create a new one. Okay. I can create another one. I just clicked on clone. Okay. If I want to edit it, I can edit. Let me refresh it once, guys. Basically, when I click on edit, it will just open up again the same app manager. Okay. On edit. Okay. It is just editing and showing the options that we have given previously. Like this is the name, this is the logo, and this is the option we have given standard navigation and which is available in desktop and phone. And these are the utility items that we have added. Okay. And these are the navigation items that we have added. And if you want to reorder, you can reorder here. And these are the profiles basically which have access to this application. Okay. So if you want to change anything, you can just simply click on edit and you can change it. Okay, clone is the option that if you want to create any other new application, then we can click on clone. So automatically it gives you all existing things. Okay, you can rename. So and click on next. So all existing ones, click on next. So already charter is available. So Here in the finance operations, I don't want to see about the campaigns. So, and leads is fine, and I don't want to deal about the cases. Okay, only this one. Next, save and finish. So, in case if you want to clone any existing application to create the new one, if there's only minor tweak in the existing application to new application, basically we use the clone option. So right now I have created two applications and given access to the system administrator. Okay. So any questions on creating the application, guys? So basically we are just giving the name, selecting the logo and selecting the different tabs that we need. And then we are trying to select utility items. Then we are trying to provide the access. These are the 5 steps that are present in our application. So the easiest thing that you need to remember on your mind to discuss about, I mean, to make it very easy, just remember this image. Okay. This is the one. Just remember this, guys. So, what is the application is? Application is the one which we are going to give the app details and branding. This is nothing but the name and logo. And then app options, which is nothing but the standard or console. And the utility items, which is nothing but the shortcut items that we need to use in our application. And navigation items, nothing but the tabs. And then the last thing is the user profiles. Okay. If you remember these things, then you are in a position to explain what is the app and how to create the app. Okay. So now how to access our applications. Obviously, we can access any of the application from the app launcher, right? Now we will see the same way, are we in a position to access our applications or not? So from the app launcher, let me try to search for B and B. See, you are able to see my application also. BNB insurance app and BNB finance app. Okay. So I'm just opening up any of the application. So you are able to see your own application, home, campaign, leads, accounts, reports, and dashboards. Okay. These are the ones. When you are um when you are configuring the application, right? Under the navigation items, not the navigation items. Um, hmm. Not the navigation items, guys. Under the app options, okay, you are able to see the 3 checkboxes. One is related to the omni channels, and one is related to the do you want to disable, okay, customization of the personalization of your navigation bar. That is nothing but these are the ones, right? Basically, any user logs in, okay, these are the ones which displays only. But if you want to see more when you log in, then you can customize, you can personalize the things. Okay. So if you want to add more items, so when I log in it, okay, I would like to see um what else we have. Oh, Quotes, it's not present. Okay. Campaign. Okay. I would like to see service appointments also. Okay. Then I can add it. Click on save. So this we call it as a your personal, like personal navigation bar setup. This completely we call it as a navigation bar, guys. The down one, okay. Whatever you are seeing in the down, okay. This we call it as a utility bar. You are able to see the charter feed, right? So this down one we call it as a utility bar, and normal top one we call it as a navigation. So these are nothing but the different navigation items. So whenever I assign the app, if any user who has access to that particular app logs in, they are able to see all these tabs. That's it. But you have the option that you can add more available tabs, okay, for you in case if you want to add it. But that is available only for you. That is your own personalization stuff that you are doing. Okay. Under the app options, there is one checkbox. Would you like to disable that personalization? Okay, that is your first checkbox. You have three checkboxes. One is last checkbox is related to the omni channel, and your first checkbox is related to some personalization. That is nothing but this. That means whenever any user logs in, they are going to just use the setup that you have provided. They're no longer going to add their own if they want. Okay, so most of the times we will not disable that, guys, because it's their wish. They have the option. If they want, they can do it. No harm for us. Even though they add it, there is no harm for us because that is only visible to that particular person. If I add something here, so it is only visible to me. Okay. Other user logs in, he will not see whatever the things which I have added. Okay. That is the thing. So this is all about the application creation. How to create an application, how to access the application, and how to add your own navigation items to application. Okay. And what is the utility bar in the application? And if you want to disable adding your own navigation items, what is the place to do the disablement? It's app options, and we need to check the checkbox regarding the disablement. Okay. So these are the main questions they'll ask you on the application. What is an application and how to create an application? Can you explain me different steps that you need to that you follow when creating the application? Okay. So now I'm good. I have created the applications. But obviously, guys, just think about this is the insurance app. Okay. Accounts, contacts, opportunities, cases, service contracts, reports, and dashboards. Do we use only these terminologies in the insurance? No, right? Whenever we are in the insurance world, there is a one keyword. So, what is that keyword? Any guess? In the insurance world, we basically use one word. What is that? Policy, right? It's a insurance policies. So I'm going to check, is there any object which is available in Salesforce that gives me a flexibility that I can store all policy related information. Okay. What is the policy person name, policy start date, policy end date, policy maturity time, policy bonus? Okay, all these things. So, what I'll do, I'll go to the setup object and I'll go to the object manager. So, I'll check for policy. So, no, nothing. I don't see any any existing table that gives me a flexibility that I can store the policy information. Okay. So what I can do now, it's time to create my own object. Okay. So I'm going to create my own object. So there is a one create object, and then clicking on custom object, it is saying a button custom object. So why? Because it is the object that we are creating. It is not given by platform. That is the difference between the custom object and standard object, guys. This is again your question. What is custom object? What is standard object? Object which comes along with the platform is a standard object. Object that we are creating are custom objects. Okay. So I'm going to create an object policy. Okay. And we need to provide the policies. Okay. And object name is policy. API names, guys. These API names we will use all our automations. That means at the end we will create flows. Azure admins, they will create the flows. Our Azure developers, they will write the codes. For all the things we use this API, object API names. Okay. We will not use the labels. Labels are just for print and display purpose. But whenever we are accessing this object in the backend, we always use the API names. Okay, whatever the name which we are giving here, that is the one which we are going to use our writing the code or doing our automations. Okay. So description, it's always a best. It's not at all an important. Sorry, it's not at all a mandatory, guys, but it's always a best practice that you have to provide at least a little bit description about each and everything that you are doing. So that's always helpful for the new people. At least give a little bit of idea what this field will do or what this object will do. Okay. Store stores all policy related information. Client policy, client, customers, policies, information. Okay. And whenever you are creating an object, okay, by default, it will create a few fields for you guys. Okay. So the first field that is nothing but the name. What is the record name? Would you like to enter that name? Or there is a, whenever you want to give a record name, fine, you are going to give the text field. No, I want to auto generate a number for us. So as soon as somebody enter the data, I want to have some unique number and that should get generated automatically. Then we will just give it as a auto number. And here also we are going to create policy number. So as soon as I create a policy record here, automatically a policy number gets generated for me. Okay. And what is the policy number format that you would like to um, give? So V is my company name and insurance policy I'm going to give. Okay, so I'm going to give a display format is like that. BBIP hyphen some number. Okay, if you want to generate 4-digit number, then you have to give 4 zeros. If you want to generate 5-digit number, 5 zeros. Okay, like that. So I'm just giving an example of 4 zeros. And starting number. Okay. So you would like to start the number from 000 or 001. Or if you, no, I want to start my policy numbers from 10 onwards. Then here you are going to give 10. Okay. This is just a starting number. This is your First decision you are taking, each and every record, do I need any unique number? In case you want to have unique number for the record which is creating, we will select the auto number. No, I don't need any unique numbers. Whatever the customer enters is the unique way. So I just need to provide them the option to enter the data like policy number. I want to provide them the option to enter. Yes, you can go ahead and have the text. For the text fields, you will not get the rest of the two things, guys. It's just they will enter, and whatever the data they entered, it will just get stored in that field. In case of auto number only, it is going to ask you what format you would like to generate the number. Okay. And after that, you will be having the optional features. These are all optional, but we always allow reports, allow activities, allow field history tracking. Okay. And if you want to use the charter functionality on this, you can use charter. Okay. And enable licensing is something like that. So it's kind of, this is the Salesforce object. If you would like to use this object in the third party one, right now you can't enable it at the time of creation one. After your object is done with the creation, you can do some operations. But initially this is disabled. So leave about it, not required. So allow reports are something like that. If you want to prepare some reports, this checkbox should be checked. Then only you can prepare reports on the policy object information. That means records. Activities. Whenever you want to create any new tasks, whenever you want to send an emails, okay, you have to check this checkbox. Otherwise, you can't do both those things. Okay. And track field history. For example, on the policy, I have given my policy date is so and so. And after that, I realized that I have given a wrong birth date on my policy. I want to correct it. So I'm going to change that date, right? But you need to keep the history tracking. Initially, the policy was issued with this birth date, and later on this is changed this date to this date. Like such kind of history tracking we have to maintain. Otherwise, it is really difficult. In the real-time applications, for each and everything, for small things also, we have to capture and we have to store it. Then only if customer come back to us and ask any question, then we can clearly provide the service saying that, sir, this date you have done this thing, you have raised this request, and because of this request, we have modified this to this value. Like that, for each and everything, we have to maintain the proof, and each and everything we need to keep track. So if you want to track any changes that is going to happen on this object, you have to enable this track field history. Okay. And allow the chatter groups. It's same thing. If you want to chat with other users in this arc from on this object, okay, then this is the one. And allow sharing, allow bulk API access, allow streaming API access. Uh, these will get checked automatically, guys. All these three are related to the APIs. Okay. And if you see it here, enterprise applications. Enterprise applications is nothing but the applications which are communicating with the other applications. Okay. Standalone applications are something like that. We don't have integrations with other applications. That applications, we call it as a standalone applications. Enterprise applications are something like that, that gives you connectivity with all other technology applications also. So Salesforce is one of the enterprise applications. So always whenever we are creating the tables, these three checkboxes by default gets enabled. No, I mean, especially you have the requirement to uncheck this one. I don't want to make this object to access outside of this application. then no need of check this one. But you will not get such kind of requirements. Okay. But you need to have an idea. What is this? And the last thing is the deployment status. And sorry guys, it's going to be another 5 minutes only. Okay. Deployment status. Deployment status, you will be having two options: in deploy developed and the deployed. Okay. Deployed is something like that your object is ready. Okay. You can use it for usage purpose. You can use it. In development is something like that you don't have. For example, my client asked me to create an object that requires to store the policy number and all policy related one, but still you are in confusion whether to allow the reports or to allow the activities on that object. Still it is in confusion, it is not in the finalized stage. That is the time we'll just select in development, because whether this is the in development, your object is just stored as a temporary purpose. It will not available for any automations. That means automations is something like that. Advanced automations is something like that. For example, if something happens, you need to send an email notifications. If something happen on policy record, you are going to automatically update something on the account record. Okay. All those things we will configure through the automations. So if your object is in development status, you can't do any automations. Your object will not be available for automations. Okay. So basically right now I have all the required one to create the object. So I'm going to make it as a deployed. Okay. These are the basic things that you need to know about custom object, guys. And I'm sure nobody asked you a question saying that what all the steps that involves while creating the custom object. Okay. Nobody asked you the question like that. But the damn sure question is, they will ask you this way. Oh, see, I have a record. I have changed my, like, as I told you, policy date, but somehow now I want to see value which was present originally. How can I see that? They always ask you question, and if you are not very clear about the custom object creation, then you can't answer that question, guys. Okay, if you simply click on new button and give the mandatory fields and click on next button, then you can't answer that question, such kind of questions. So that's the reason whenever we were configuring something, then we need to understand each and everything. Okay. So now how you can achieve such scenario? Then immediately if you have idea on these four checkboxes, then you can answer that question. Yes, at the time of object creation, there is a checkbox track field history. Okay. If you track that one, then it will give the option to track your fields. So you can enable the history tracking on that particular policy date field. So that obviously it will track all your changes in the system. That is the answer we have to give them. The same question they will ask you about the reports and activities also, guys. And mostly they'll ask you question on reports and field history. And sometimes they'll ask you a question on activities also. Okay. They'll ask you, I would like to generate some reports, but I don't see my object on my reports while creating the reports. Then immediately the answer you have to give is, yes, we need to go and check the custom object settings. What is checked in the custom object level? Okay. And then, yeah. And search status is also another one. So, any record, this search is called a global search, guys. Okay, you are able to see the case, contacts, account records. That is also possible only if you enable the allow search one. If you enable the allow search button, then only the records, that particular object records, you can search using the global search. Otherwise, it's not available. Okay. And then add notes and attachments. Okay. This is default, we will check because each and every object have some like there is most of the times there is a chance of attaching some screenshots or attaching some documents, right? So we always check this checkbox. And then launch new custom tab wizard. So as soon as the object gets created, the second step is we need to create the tab, guys, like campaigns, leads, accounts, contacts. These are all tabs, right? So at the time of creating the object, you can create the tab. Okay. If you want to create the tab also, you can just check this checkbox, but this is optional. Or else, I don't want to create the tab right away. I'll create the tab later. Okay. There is an option from the setup. You can go to the tab setup. There is a tab. You can just search for tab and you can go to the tabs. Okay. Custom objects. You can click on new and you can create the new tab also. This is the once the object creation is done and you have after that you are required to create the tab. This is the way you can create. Or else initially itself at the time of creating the object itself they told you to create the tab. Then we are going to select this checkbox also and clicking on save. So what it will do is it will create the object and it will take me to the tabs. So these tabs is nothing but this one. In the custom object tabs, if I click on new, this is the one is exactly same as this one. Okay. It's the same one. At the time of creating the object itself, you got to know you need to create the tab. Then we will select that checkbox. Then it will take us to this page. Or else, no, the object was already created earlier. Now they were asking me to create a tab. Then I'll come to this page. It's simple, guys. We just need to select the object name and then some styling. Anything, whatever you want. Helicopter, fan, desk, policies. So I'm going to select it as a desk or computer, whatever. Okay, whatever you like, you can just do it. It's just a three step, guys. Okay. If you want to give visibility, so obviously default on, default off, and tab hidden. This we discussed previously in our previous classes. Tab hidden is something like that. You can't see that. Okay. And default on and default off. Default on is something like that. You are able to see your tab here. Okay. From the direct applications. Default off is something like that. You can just access from this your personalization bar. Okay, that is nothing but the default off. Default on is something like that you will be seeing either in the application or in the app launcher that you can see it. That is not major thing, guys. Okay, nobody will ask you. They'll just ask you what is the difference between the tab hidden and default on or default off. So tab hidden is something like that. You can't access the tab. You can't see that object itself from your applications. Okay. So right now I just make it as a default on and click on next. Then what are the different applications that you want to access this tab? So I want to access only insurance app. Insurance app is the only one I want this tab is available, policies tab. So click on save. Now if I open up my insurance app and refresh it, okay, So I can see policies tab. This is how you can create your own object and its tab. Okay. If I open up the policies, you can see automatically policy number. This is one of the field that gets created automatically. Okay. Tomorrow I'll explain you about. So if I more about this policies object, if you go to the setup, object manager, search for policy, you can see your policies object. Okay. So this is the custom object that you created. Okay. So here you have custom object, type as the custom object. So you can say this is the custom object. By looking the name itself, how can you say that? Okay. Whether it is a standard object or custom object is this one, guys. All the custom objects always appended with underscore C. If you see any of your standard objects, the API name will always direct one. It will not have underscore C's. But all the custom objects that you create will always comes up with underscore C. Okay. This is how, by looking at the object name itself, you can tell whether it is a standard or custom object. Okay. So this is the policies object that we created. Okay. Tomorrow what we will do is I'll explain you about all these fields and then we will create some more new fields that we require to handle the policies. Okay. So basically as part of the today's class, what we did is we have created a custom application. Okay. With the name B&B insurance app. Okay. And then we have created a custom object of policies. Okay. This is how you will create your own objects, guys. I just shown you one object, but it's the similar for all objects. It's simply depending on your requirements. Okay. They'll tell you. So they'll tell you create this object, create that object. So the only thing that you need to learn is how to create the object. That is what we have learned. And at the time of creating the object, what are the different things that we have to enabling the or disabling the checkboxes. So that is also we learned. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. So let me stop recording. Any questions?